Jann Gray, and I'm here to introduce you to our June release of our click prints. Click prints are line art transfer sheets that are downloadable, and you can get them on our website, illuminatedjournaling.com. This month's release that you can print out on vellum or whatever paper you would like to. Vellum works great because you can see right through it. But this release is called Go, and the imagery is all focused around things that you would use for missions trips or perhaps talking about the Great Commission. I love this little image of the various nationality of kids all surrounding the globe. We've also included a couple of fishing nets along with a lettering for the verse from Matthew, "Come follow me and I will make you fishers of men." Perhaps you've gone on a medical mission, and I've given you some imagery to go with that as well. The heart-shaped stethoscope and the doctor's bag. We always try to give you images in a couple of sizes. I love the luggage and the globe. Again, just really great for if you're going on a mission trip or if you've been on a missions trip. But the sizes are there so that if you want to just put the image in the margin, you have that, or you can use it over the full page if you like. Have a couple of hand-lettered verses that are about missions or the Great Commission. And then this may be, it's a little odd, but I actually kind of ended up going a little nuts with it. It's a fish where I have put various regions of the world, continents and regions where you may have gone on a missions trip, or perhaps you are supporting a missionary there. And I thought it would be kind of fun to be able to put the actual country and then some icons that help you mark the different things that you've done there. I also love the verse from Isaiah, "How beautiful are the feet of them who bring good news." So I've included some feet for you. And then this particular map is one of my favorites. I love that it's made up of the actual names of the countries. And I'm going to show you a way that I used it here in just a bit. I have a tutorial for you, but I've given it to you really large in case you wanted to go across a couple of pages. Now I realize it's pretty detailed, but I'm going to show you a way to use it that I think you're really going to like. Just in case you aren't familiar with click prints, let me tell you just a little bit about them. Click prints are a monthly collection of line art. You get 8 individual sheets, and they're delivered to you electronically, so you can print them out either on vellum or whatever else you want to print them out on. Now there's a couple of ways that you can get them. The first is via subscription, and that's really the easiest way, and you save a little bit of money. But by doing a monthly subscription, it gets delivered to your inbox automatically. If that's not the way you'd like to go, you can purchase them individually as well. Now here's what the email will look like when you get it. You will have some information about the collection, and then there will be a link for you to download it. That means you can print it off as often as you like, which I think is great because I end up using them multiple times, using parts of them. So like I said, you can get it via subscription or you can purchase them individually. So each month you will see the current release, and then you can go and purchase archived as well. So let me show you a couple of projects that I did with this collection. I colored those cute little kiddos on the vellum directly. Colored pencils love to blend on vellum. So one of the easiest things you can do is just color in one of the images and then cut it out and add it to your page. The other thing that I did with this is I used the lettering guide and traced it into the margin of my Bible, added those little feet down at the bottom, and then just did a quick watercolor wash. That's what I love about click prints, is they give you access to the art really fast so you can get to your project. So I thought I'd share with you how I use that map that is made up of the country names to create this shaker tip-in. It's really kind of cool, and it's a great way to use that really detailed image and make it have kind of a wow factor. Because it comes to you in electronic format, you can resize it, and that's what I've done here, is basically printed it out in 2 or 3 different sizes because I wasn't certain which size I was going to want to use. The key is to print it on a laser printer or on a copier, because it's the toner that's going to bond with these foil sheets from Ranger. These are heat transfer sheets, and That's really critical. I've shown you how you can use those gold sheets with adhesive, but this is something different. It actually, the toner and the heat and the foil transfer the foil onto just where that toner is. So here's how you can do that. If you have a laminator, that's the easiest way. You put the foil pretty side up against your artwork and then put a piece of paper on top of it and send it through the laminator. But if you don't have a laminator, feel free to use an iron. You just are going to want to give it a really good press and check to make sure that you've gotten all of it done. Once you've transferred the foil to your image, it's time to create the pouch. And to do that, I started by cutting a second piece of vellum, and the easiest way to make sure that they match is to stack those two pieces of vellum together. That way we can make a pouch that is perfectly aligned. If you just cut them at the same time, that's the easiest way. You don't have to measure and double measure. You can just cut it and you're guaranteed that they will be perfectly aligned. So I'm going to use some Be Creative tape. This is really extra duty, heavy duty adhesive, and it's great for creating these little pouches. Just make sure that you've turned any little extra adhesive back on itself. This tape, like I said, is really heavy duty, so sometimes I find that it's the easiest to use a little pair of tweezers to get the paper to remove the backing from it. But really great because it's going to, whatever you put in here is going to stay in here. So I'm going to begin by putting some little heart sequins in here. Those little hearts represent all the people that are in these countries, and then I'm just going to add some sequin mix. You want to keep it to the center there because we don't want any of it to get caught up in that tape. Just make a little mound of it. You can put little seed beads, all sorts of things in there, whatever your heart desires. And then because they are perfectly matched from our cutting, it's easy to just put the two pieces together and form that little pocket. Really easy to make that shaker, and because it's vellum, it has that nice muted look with all those sequins down the side. So let me show you how we created the frame. Again, I go for the easy way. I kind of check to see how much I was going to need, and then I'm going to use this glitter paper to create the frame, and this pen blade is going to come in handy here. Again, you notice I'm not huge on measuring, so I just kind of put my pouch on top of it and make sure that I have an equal amount of space on all four sides. It's just the easiest way for me to do it because everybody's is going to be a little different. So to make the frame, I turn it over on the back and I use a pencil to outline the actual size of the pouch. And I want this frame to cover over that pouch. So I'm going to take my see-through ruler, and this is a Tim Holtz ruler, and I'm going to come into the frame by 1/4 of an inch all the way around and just mark those edges. And then I'm going to use the pen blade, and I really like these. They come in a set of 3 and are really great because the X-Acto blade is retractable, and ask me how I know that it's good to have a retractable blade in your craft room, because I've certainly worn 1, 2, or 3 mini bandages because of reaching for something and cutting myself with the blade. So just by going around coming in 1/4 inch on all sides, my frame is going to fit beautifully over my pouch. Isn't that pretty? I'm going to use that same tape, and I'm going to put it on the pouch because if I put it on the frame, there might be a place that it actually was still sticky, and that would then stick to our Bible page. So I'm just going to use the tape and put it on the front of the pouch all the way around. And again, make sure you've turned everything back before you take your frame and place it over your pouch. And it's just that easy. I just think that frame gives it a nice little finished look to it, and it covers up the adhesive that we did. You could put a frame on the back if you wanted to, but I didn't decide to go that way because I thought it was pretty enough the way it was. So I want to do a little watercoloring on here, and I'm using some Kuretake Gansai watercolors. These are highly pigmented, and I'm going to start by just adding some clean water all over the page. This is not a prepped page. You can see I have something on the back side of it, but I'm really familiar with these watercolors and know that if I do several light washes, that it's going to do a lot better and it's going to be just fine. So I'm going to do a quick wash of these blues, greens, and a little bit of purple, and then I'm going to dry it with my heat tool, get it good and dry. For me, that's really the key, is doing several layers. I wanted pretty intense colors, but I know that I don't have to get it done on the first wash. I will go back and add a second or even a third wash if that's what I need to get a little bit more intensity of color. So that's what I did here. And again, as soon as I got it all painted, I bring the heat tool in and dry it one more time, because just keeping that wash, getting it dry really quickly is good. So I wanted just a little more visual texture, so I'm going to use this swirl stamp that kind of matches the swirl in the frame. I'm using some Delicata ink, and it's got kind of a white silvery shimmer to it. I'm just going to stamp that all over the page just to give a little visual texture and kind of tie the framework in with the background too. Very easy way to just add just a little bit of more interest to the page. I love the colors. I love how the frame is going to stand out against it, but you'll see with the final results that it really looks nice to have that swirl. So I heat set the ink, and then I'm going to write my title, which is Go, Go Unto All the World. I always do my hand lettering in pencil first, and I apologize. I thought I had the camera on when I was going over the Go, but I just used my Micron pen to create, to ink in my big Go, and then I'm using my Micron to fill into All the World, and of course adding the reference. This is the Great Commission found at the end of chapter 28 in Matthew. So I like how that looked, but I wanted just to give it a little more pop, so I'm using my Koi watercolor brush in cool gray to add a little bit of a drop shadow just to the right of each of those lines, going over it a couple of times, and that just gives it a little, it lifts the Go off of the page just a little bit. And then I'm going to do a white highlight on the left hand side of the line just to again give it that dimensional look there. Very easy lettering for the title. And then to add my tip in, I'm using a piece of washi tape as a hinge, and I put it there and trim off the ends, fold it back on itself, and then place it onto the edge of the page. Very simple to do, but isn't that fun to have a little shaker card in there? I think that's a great way to use that detailed image stamp. I love it so much. Now, if you didn't want to have to turn it to the side, obviously you could use one of those smaller images and turn it the other way. I just kind of wanted it big enough to be able to read all the countries. So here are the 3 projects that I did for you. 3 different techniques, but so many ways you can use your click print. So I hope you'll check them out, and for sure tag me with the click print hashtag so that I can see what you've created. I'll be back with another video real soon. Please subscribe if you have not subscribed to my videos yet. That's the best way to find out what I'm up to. I'll see you real soon.